Actually worked out really well.
Once you get used to it, it's not bad.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Conservation Board meeting, 6:32. We'll call the meeting to order. My name is Pat Coleman, acting chair tonight. Matt Madison. Tim Norman as board members.
Welcome.
Have no other folks here for the other two projects. We'll just skip you right ahead. Perfect. Jump perfect in. We have reviewed some of your materials. Obviously, looks like you're trying to land swap for 1, 2 pieces of the property. Swap for one other. So, if you don't mind, just give us a little bit of an overview on the project. Any additional details, background, that would be helpful.
Okay.
You want to
Yeah.
jump in as to why?
Yeah, so when he originally had it, had the conservation easement set in there, you know, he had no plans to sell it. So I have a buyer that is put an offer in on there, and they currently live on New Chatel, so they have a
Report.
so they have a postage stamp lot there, right? So they're looking for a lifestyle change, but both of her daughters, 10 and 12 years old, are lease horses. One of them at Lehman Farms and one of them at another farm there, and they're pretty big into the riding. So at some point, they want to be able to have horses on site. So the way that the map is currently drawn doesn't really allow them to utilize that field mainly for horses. You know, they're not looking to have a ton of horses, but that's down the road. But they're looking for a piece of property where they would eventually be able to have a barn and horses there. So with the conservation easement, the way that it's drawn, it really doesn't give them a good spot to be able to do that, right? So as we were looking at it, there's spots on the property that
You guys
certainly.
have a big map. Wow.
Sure.
There's spots on the property that certainly that aren't currently in the conservation easement that could be, you know, so a square foot per square foot land swap. Seems like it would still maintain the reason why it was set up there was to give the wildlife the ability to get around the property. We wouldn't touch anything in that where the current setbacks are. You know, we wouldn't touch any of that because you can't build there or do anything there anyway. So we maintain all of that. But what we're looking to do is to move a majority of the conservation out towards the wooded area in the front there, up on either side of the driveway, or it comes up on either side of the driveway. There's a little bit of wetlands on the side there, and move it into that and free up that blue rectangle that you see there from what's current conservation easement to be unrestricted. So that's where the pasture could be. That's where a barn could be built 100 feet off the property lines in either direction there without it being a problem.
It would still be green space pasture.
Right. Yeah. And then, and I know sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, we would do square foot per square foot. And, like when I did the one on Fountain Hill Road there, where Brian Cole lives there, when we did that development there, we were able to include the septic systems in the green space because, nobody's going to build on them anyways. You might as well have the butterflies enjoy it. So same type of thing here. If we could use the septic system area and free up even more of that orange. So see where the L is there? That's the septic system. Yeah, so if we could actually come a little bit further this way with that to free up that backyard, not that they'll do anything with it, right? But also it just makes it, I know you're not even supposed to mow and, maintain a lot of that stuff. So if we could, but it would be a square foot per square foot. It's just a matter of where could we do the square foot?
What type of easement is on it right now? Just a
It's site specific.
site specific?
We agreed to 50% when we subdivided off the parcel that Andrew happens to live on now. Somebody else bought it in between him, but and we just drew the lines kind of, we thought no one would ever want to build around the perimeter. It acted like a buffer for us. They were thinking of horses because we don't have any.
Yeah.
Right. So the area that's all down by the road is completely wooded. There was some site work done on it years ago. A church owned the property And they were gonna build a church on it and they did some site work. So there's actually a kind of a big drainage bowl down in this area. But it's completely covered and wooded and
Yes.
it's in its natural state. How's that?
And where you're proposing to add to the easement, what's happening there now? It's being mowed
Nothing.
now or?
No, the only thing we mow really in this area is about 2 mowers wide width on each side of the driveway. And that's it. The rest of it's all woods. In fact, there's a family of deer living in there right now. And eating all my apples.
Right, yeah.
I'm
Back.
really curious, is it marked now where the existing easement is?
No, no one ever
No.
came out and told me I had to.
Sure. Oh, I'm just curious.
This was 2008, I think.
Mhm.
We don't use it. I mean, there's a trail that runs back there just so I can get to the back of the property and for a place for the dogs to run. But that's all.
And then back here, the other part that you're looking to add also no mow. So what you've got in here, this pink area.
The pink area is what I
Which you're
more or less
mowing
what I
now.
mow.
Right
The
now,
rest of it is all natural. I didn't need more to mow than it's already 45 minutes.
And it's a
Oh, no,
even.
yeah, right.
Well, depending on what they allow, so example, if we were able to include, because up here is like that, kind of like that marshy wet stuff, right? If we were able to include that septic area, I would pull this back, just to get it, or this way here to get that yard a little bit bigger, but
This map, the one with the colors, I drew just as a reference.
Sure.
What they want might not be what I drew, but it's generally.
pretty close, yeah, came off of the.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to mark that up, that's exactly what.
So normally with easements these days, I've asked about the markers, there's generally some type of barrier or marker.
Yeah, there's
to
usually-
delineate,
Andrew said there's like a post now.
like a
Yeah.
4x4 post generally, or we try to do
You
if
could,
possible.
Big rock.
Big rock.
yeah.
Mark off a rock, a tree
Tree there,
with the little
with
placard.
plaque
Yeah, there
on
was,
it.
I walked through the areas where I thought it was, looking for the 4x4, the tree, the placard, the whatever. And there was none of those.
Yeah, I don't think it was required back then.
Yeah,
At least that
it's changed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Venenzia did it, and they're usually pretty good about marking. That's why I have mark them for sure now, so.
They may have put pins in and I don't know about them.
Right, yeah.
This plant's probably over.
Yeah, I mean, we bring it up, this isn't too bad, but sometimes you'll see easements and it's, this big,
Right.
abstract shape and
Yeah,
to be able to mark that,
yeah.
they'd need 40 markers out there.
Right.
So, but yours are pretty, kind of.
And where the lines are curved, I tried to make it so that it's more or less followed what I'm mowing.
Ish.
Sure. Makes sense.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think they want to expand the lawn anymore.
that would be our primary.
And this lot too is just, someone else might buy it or,
It's been bought. Andrew lives there.
oh, that's Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
That would be a sidewalk.
Yeah,
On
we
so
could
last
run
two.
over variances there.
Yeah, see, he had markers.
Yeah, yeah.
You haven't seen any markers on
No, I didn't go.
I mean, I don't think I have any
Number
problem
others
with
seems
the
to be-
concept of a swap. Especially if it's already, natural right now anyways. It's not like it's lawn. You're like, well, we'll let it grow and in 5 years it'll look different. Kind of already looks like that. But like you said, I might just clean up the lines a little bit to make it easier for everybody if
Right.
selling it or whatever, so everyone knows where they are.
So is the thought, hey, you guys want to just start having the conversation early, so the person doesn't buy it 5 years from now, come before us and we tell her no? Or do we want to actually change it today or a month from now and this will be it and we're going to live with it? Or
Yep, so the offer's been made contingent on the conservation board and the town board adjusting the lot lines to make it, because in its current, configuration, there's really not enough space there for what she wants to do at some point, you know, I mean, they don't even own horses. They currently lease them someplace else, but at some point they'd like to have a barn and a couple horses. And, you know, the pasture to be with it there. So, you know, we were looking, you know, 8 acres, there's plenty of room to do that. 4 acres, there's still plenty of room to do that, but it has to have a big enough section, you know, so that's why that one
Kind of an
corner
odd shape.
becomes important.
Right.
And as far as the lines, yeah, I mean, ideally, I mean, we're gonna have it surveyed to find out exactly what it is, but we would bring it up to pretty much so square things off.
Sure.
I'd love to be able to include that septic because we're not gonna be able to do anything with that anyways. And then whatever we can do with this blue, you know, that's already squared lines and we'll just keep pushing that line across. You know, this will be the line that kind of tells us, you know, based on how many square footage we were able to gain in this area here, this is how far we can push that blue line, you know, behind the house. And if it's, you know, if we couldn't gain enough square footage up there, then the blue line would have to move across the other way. So we'll maintain the ratio.
And it'll still be 50%.
It'll still be 50% and they'll still have the border all the way around it, you know, so that for the wildlife to be able to get across.
There are, across the street, there's a llama farm. Just up the street, there's another house that has, I think, 2 or 3 horses. That might be in the Farmington. I'm not exactly sure what the line is. Then there's the big horse farm on Gillis
Yeah, and
Road
Gillis right behind
that
it.
actually we back up to. They still, they own all that.
And what's in the easement now? Or so what's happening? What's the ground look like there now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's just field.
That's field now.
It's some dead ash trees and some willow and just bushes.
Yeah.
We don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
I used to have a trail that went up to the corner there, but I've let it go and it's totally overgrown.
Sense.
So
Yeah,
we
I
have
think,
two-
Tim's point, fast forwarding kind of where the easements are today. we would, I think, want some type of marker in some fashion for the new easement.
Right.
If I'm wrong, gentlemen.
Mhm.
And then obviously survey it again, but that's either whomever to make certain that the 50% applies.
Mhm.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, and otherwise, it sounds like the land is being used for this same purpose right now anyways, so
Yeah, it's not like we're looking to build a garage or.
Right.
being
you know.
protected, that's now gonna be unprotected or vice versa.
About
Something sort
language. Play specific again. Should it be?
Well, yeah, we've got to make sure that they do agriculture in it.
Yeah, there's still gonna, I mean, even with the horses there, I mean, there's still gotta be a trail and stuff that goes across it to get back to the main horse farm and, you know, there's stuff like that. So we wouldn't want it to be, you know, super restrictive, but, you know, enough to understand it would be a no build type of area in that area, yeah.
And so I'm wrapping my head around it, the barn, it sounds like if and when would be near the blue.
Yeah, so the barn, if and when they do that, would be, you know, 100 feet off the property lines. And then depending on, you know, what they decide, this is just in the works, right? There's nothing drawn up, there's nothing to it. There would be, you know, the pasture off of it and probably some type of riding circle that they, you know, all within that. And then everything else would happen there. Yeah, everything would happen there. And as to how that actually gets set up, but in order to do that, they need that 4 acres of continuous space in a square to be able to do it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Other thoughts,
And I'm
comments?
just, the other thing I'm thinking is I'm just trying to make sure as we look ahead, we're not putting something in an easement that in a couple of years from now, they're gonna ask to take back out of an easement or move it again. But yeah.
You
but
could
I
never
can't
build
think of-
anything on that strip.
That's what I'm
Going
thinking.
to
You
the
can't
road.
put it in, they're not gonna say, oh, we want to put a garage here, we want to do something there. It's not gonna cause you a problem down the road.
It's not gonna cause me a problem.
Well, yeah. Good point.
Trying to think of what could apply, but
And the lines can certainly be straightened out again. I just did this with Microsoft Paint, so.
you did a nice job.
That's a nice issue.
Normally we try to piece it together.
We'll get Anthony just to put the stamp on that and call it a day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, other than that,
Yeah, so our comments, board will be same language
Mhm.
for the easement, marking the easement, making certain that obviously it's Venezia or whomever surveys it. And I believe, what, remind me the process to change. I think it has to,
I'm sure.
I think it requires town board approval.
Yeah,
board approval, but I thought there's like, there's obviously submitting. Then getting that approved. Right, so you gotta get, I think,
yeah, they'll have it.
surveyed,
Yeah,
and then,
And then go to the board.
yeah,
Yeah, so as a conservation board, I don't know if we already covered this part, but we're an advisory board.
Right.
Town board. So we're giving our comments, our thoughts, those get brought up to the town board. So to Pat's point, we've kind of given you what our comments probably will be. And the board will take those into consideration as they're talking with you and dealing with this.
Right.
And I think it would be, if they approved it as well, it would be, resurvey and then remark. There's cost involved with that. I don't think it's anything.
We'd have to supply a survey
Yeah.
from there. Now the buyer would just pay anything that's additional for this piece, that's all.
and submit that. And
And then,
So
Refile.
obviously, because we have an offer and we're trying to get this done.
Yeah.
There's a town board meeting on 28th. What do we need to bring to them aside from what I've already provided? Do we have to get it surveyed before then? Do they have to see lines before then?
We'll
And
provide
what
our
is-
comments to them.
Okay.
I would bring exactly what you have here. They'll see our comments. And then be prepared to discuss with you, pretty much go through a very similar process.
Okay,
If there were any changes to this, so I wouldn't take that next step for the survey yet.
Okay.
Thing, right?
yeah, I probably
Until you
would.
get to that point.
yep, I just want to make sure.
Anthony's gonna ding you for whatever, or whomever. For the survey. So that would then be the next step,
Okay,
and then you just follow their lead.
whatever they tell you to do.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
How quickly do you think it can be if they decide the same as you guys are right now? Is this something that we can have finalized by the end of December?
I have no idea.
Okay.
You've been working with, you said Kim, no?
Yeah, Karen down in the
Okay.
town clerks. She's not been getting, give me a pointer.
Certain on the timeline, I would say next meeting's the 28th. I'll give you direction, get your day done.
Yep.
As soon as you can get a new survey. We probably put the site language, I'm guessing. Or I guess we could just be.
I mean, let's answer that now and.
Right.
Like you said,
Yeah,
same language, so
Yeah,
they
Yeah.
can rewrite it without having to come back to us again.
Right.
What do you think?
what I'm not sure of is the order of things, like, does this go to the county to be recorded and then, or could everything kind of be done at their closing? Get everything changed, and that I'm not sure of.
Okay.
So you may want to kind of understand the order of the filings with the county, because that could pace
Right.
closing, obviously.
and so it doesn't hopefully get to another. One of our meetings, to Matt's point, and that's just further delay the process. We'll review. Language, make certain it's site specific and applies, and then we'll just provide that, push that up to the planning board.
Okay.
So that doesn't come back before us.
Right.
Now, has the buyer reviewed that language?
The site specific.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with it, but I would love to have a print of it, yeah.
okay, just,
You'll go to the building department and they'll make you copies. I don't think you're gonna have to do a FOIA request, but
Yeah.
she gave me the lady downstairs was nice enough to give me that print, so. Made a copy for me.
only I'd hate to, 6 weeks later, there's a word that she's uncomfortable with and we have to start things over, because rather do everything all at once. And it sounds like she has kind of a clear vision of what she wants to use the property for. So as she, reads it, she could object to anything that,
Be in her best interest
yeah,
before she signs anything.
right.
And probably just redraw this a little bit. Like we said, don't go spend any money and have it surveyed, but probably, clean it up for our
Straighten up the line.
year, straighten up the lines. That way, when you go, you're like, this is pretty much what we think will fly based on our comments. Because then you can take it straight to the.
That's one thing Andrew did mention. He says you guys love straight lines.
Yeah,
It's
well,
It's in part because of those markers too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um,
You like corners.
exactly. So if you want this septic area somehow, include that, come up.
Yep. I mean, at this point, I'm gonna hand,
The baton.
I will email
You know,
you
Microsoft
this.
Yeah, so they will make me do a 10-day FOIL request on that. So if you have that information already, that's why I
I
said,
don't.
if you can go get it, that's great. You can get it the same day as the owner, but anybody else has to wait 10 days on it.
Yeah, I can get the information. What exactly the language is.
Yeah, the actual easement is it's
That's
written
fine.
on that one.
I can do that.
We'll review it on our end too, so it makes sense.
Okay.
Perfect.
yeah.
Well,
And you guys are okay with it inclusive of the septic system or the leach
I
field?
don't see any issue with it.
Done
Okay,
that before.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem.
Somebody wants to build on that, there's no issue.
right.
Yeah.
Right. What about like,
Sorry.
let's say, just as curiosity, let's say that there needs to be something done with the septic system. Let's say in 20 years it needs to be replaced. How do you deal with that?
I believe that the language in some more recent easements that we've done incorporates the ability to do so.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
Maintenance.
Not that there's anything wrong with it,
Yeah.
it works just fine, but
Right.
I think the most recent one that I had done, gave the right to mow it twice a year as well as bring on vehicles for maintenance or for pumping and all of that stuff.
that makes sense.
actually the tank's right next to the house, so. It's not way out there. It's right 10 feet from the house. You would never need to. Maybe the transfer box, who knows? Awesome.
That's fine.
All right. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you all.
Yeah,
Thank you
you
all.
as well.
Stick around for the next evening.
We'll see you again.
Nobody's here.
Good meeting you. And,
Hopefully we don't see you again. Hopefully.
No, I know, right? Especially with my builder. so. He's there.
Thanks for coming out.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Hopefully nobody else shows up. You gotta be home.
No, I know. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay a certain amount of time and wait.
Flowers. Oh, just kidding.
They better
Yeah.
not.
No, you do.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean, kill something.
Oh, all right.
Packet. Right.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you all.
Right, we'll shift gears to Southgate Hill Phase 3. Approval to develop 10 single-family residential lots on 11 acres under the clustering provision of Chapter 184, Article 5. Looks like we're the final plan.
Okay, yeah.
Really notice any huge changes to it?
I didn't see any changes to it. We did the site walk. Right, were you guys, both on you missed the site walk?
Yeah.
And I didn't see any changes other than the one we already noted where from the first from the draft to the final. The final looks exactly the way we had it. There you go. It's comments?
Yeah.
Other than, the one comment, going back to our famous markers, the green is gonna need to be marked, I think, right? Because beyond, the lot continues beyond that, and that's gonna be easement, I think,
Mhm.
especially at the far, the north end there. So we're probably gonna want those lines straightened out, right? And you can do markers. Doesn't look like there's any easements on the west side, the east side, right? Looks like
Yeah.
the lots go all the way back. Property. Let's think in those. Northwest. Maybe mark somehow. So. That was the only thing I noticed was.
I know.
We love the giant,
Oh,
That's a big.
I have other views, but I don't
Yeah.
know what you want.
You have like. Anything that. Finds the easement.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
See any easements in them?
Yeah, I thought this is the one where it's that. In a different. Parts or part of the project that they're putting off the easements, right?
Oh. There's not gonna be any easements here. Oh, I mean,
If I remember it correctly, I think that's the,
that's why we pay easements, because I was looking for the easements in the. Exactly, we got.
There you go. That one, right? Space.
Proposed easement. That whole area back there, right, and that's up behind. Those lots, right? 46, 45, 46,
so
47.
yeah, you're right.
But-
All this,
Yeah, and here it's nice and
open
straight,
space.
so that was just the green one, that the one we were looking at, that was, I think, Reedman's own. Thing that they give their customers. I got one was for
Oh, yeah.
first phase of Southgate. So they made it look a little nicer, but on there, you
Oh,
can see it's
okay, I
all
see what you're
straight.
yeah,
So that was my concern. Sorry to come up with different stuff, but that was my concern, but it looks like on here it's addressed because they're all nice straight lines and easy to mark. That's just how people will mow
Yeah, right.
it.
Cut down some trees.
How it looks up there.
So
So that
comments,
was it.
the mark.
So
Yes.
open space. But no easement on these. Easement back here. They straighten out all the lines. That's easy.
there's the easement here.
Oh, yeah, great. We can come off of off of Channing Court. So right now. No. This is phase 2 right here. Phase 3, phase 1's up here. That was my only thing, and I know this is the. Yeah, that, but I mean, is there actually, not actually a drive, is it just a gravel? Oh, natural surface, okay. I think that's just so they can get into. Deal with the stormwater if they need to. That are going through. But I mean, in the initial stages, when we did the walk, you saw what they were looking to preserve, you saw the reason that this didn't come around like it originally did is because it's all low in here. And they didn't want to have to move all that earth and disturb, so. This is, I think,
Case.
what's that?
Best case.
Best case, yeah, for us and for them. Less expensive for them because less movement and better for us. This drops off pretty good down here.
Okay.
So that was it. So of course they're gonna mark that. They've got to do that per code, so we don't really need to comment. They've already got it. Straight.
Comments that we have no comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing new.
Yeah.
Give it out.
This back up.
Talk to you in 10.
Yeah.
Right. The production greenhouse. 915 Raccoon Run, seeking a variance to place an accessory structure in the form of a greenhouse for front line of the home. Section 211 states no accessory structure shall be for the front line of the building. And it's like you're looking for more insight on the stream behind the property. I had a chance to review information, and it basically appears that you were denied the variance.
Oh,
It looks
I
like,
didn't see that.
or I should say it looked like, maybe I.
I didn't.
Thought it was the case. Because of that. No, this is what I gathered,
Oh, because no.
because
Yep. I see.
essentially couldn't build within 75 feet. Center of any stream, having year-round flow, which it looks like that stream is designated as such, so.
It didn't need to be on. Or,
I don't know, maybe they determine that in the interim. It's a very small stream. And so it is a stream, yes, designated.
designated, yeah.
So I think a matter of the code, they just can't build it.
They wanted it in back, got denied because of the stream. Now they want it in front.
I thought they wanted it on the side, in the front, and then they got denied, and they wanted it in the back, but maybe I could be wrong.
Forward of the front line.
So maybe
Yeah.
States no accessory shall be forward of the front line.
Like here's their proposed.
Gotcha. Feel like there's another proposed in there as well.
Just. It's Pat.
Again. Getting something else. So, I guess how I interpreted this from Adam is. No accessory structure should be forward to the front line of the property, the primary building. Looks like where it was proposed.
Okay.
It looks like the piece in question was the environmentally sensitive. Green. The building within that, at least what I have on,
All right. So in October, they wanted to place it in the front. We reviewed it and said, we can't. Two. Here, I see the stream. Yeah, so it's almost like in this memo, you can't put it in the front, and you can't put it in the back. Two different reasons.
it looked like they're looking for more insight on the stream behind the property, which is appears to be designated.
Yeah, it looks like it's answered.
Yeah. I don't know if they're looking for more background on it, but it seems pretty straightforward, I guess.
I don't know if it's not a named stream or anything like that.
So I was trying to find it on the map. I didn't find a name stream, but there should be a stream, so
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do with it. If some questions wanna reach out or stop in or send us a note. We'd be happy to see if there's something we can help them with. But I mean, looking at that one memo from Adam, looks like you said the town board has already taken care of it.
yeah.
I mean, I just offer up our help. If there's anything we can do. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anything
First
else?
minutes, I don't think you guys can, I can't vote on them, so
We'll just table it for next time.
April, November 1st.
Any other news?
I think
Nothing.
so.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that.
Any mentions? All in favor? All
Aye.
right, meeting adjourned. 7:07.
Right.
Easy.